Hello everyone, this is a really fun project. This is the first time I made a giant pot for doing a water garden in. I saw this picture on Pinterest and I was like, whoa, this is amazing. I need one. I need the water lotus. I need some little fish. When I was in Asia traveling when I was quite young, they had little water pots everywhere full of lotus and fish, and they were a whole lot of fun. So this one's a really fun one. I hope you learned something. I'm definitely going to be making more of these in the future, and I will, of course, give you an update when we have water lotuses flowering and the fountain done. We'll show you that in another video.
Alright, so the framework is made out of some 3/8 bar, the top and the bottom, and then the little uprights in between that are slightly curved are made out of 1/4 inch. Those are all MIG welded in place, and then we wrapped it in some chicken mesh as well as some fine metal screen, which was probably not the best idea because the fine metal screen, the cement didn't stick to it as well, and it makes it, when you put the layer of cement on the inside, makes it not stick quite as well. We're using a pretty standard shotcrete mix, which is about three buckets of coarser sand and then about 1 bucket of fine sand, and then by weight, whatever portion of sand we're weighing out, we'll do that of Portland cement. We might add just a touch extra because of it being a pot, and then we're adding also some fiber reinforcement and some waterproofing. And as you can see, we made a little contraption that allows it to spin around, so it's just a piece of like EMT tubing in the middle and a piece of rectangular tubing welded to that with a brace, and then I cut out with an angle grinder actually, the curved segment of the side that would follow the contour of the metal bars. And so then you set your spacing of how much cement you're gonna put in to make sure it clears everywhere, and then we use some clamps to clamp that in place. And we're spraying the shotcrete with one of the scoop sprayers, and I actually made this particular scoop sprayer, but you can get these on Amazon for around $50 for a similar scoop sprayers if you're interested in one. And they're of course really great because you can build all kinds of things with plaster rendering. Doing a lot of the shotcrete on different things is pretty amazing on the styrofoam housing and some of that as well. So you can see we just keep filling in the areas and running the spinny contraption around, and it makes everything really precise, and it's super satisfying to do this. The dimension of this is just right at 4 feet across, and I think it's 32 inches tall. So yeah, it worked out really well. We actually ended up using some tile grout as the finishing exterior layer. We mix that up, and that fills in any small imperfections because that's a pretty fine material, and it tends to not crack very much and leaves a really good finish. And of course you can get the tile grout in all different colors and textures and all of that kind of stuff, so that works out extremely well. So it's very satisfying to do this for sure. So one of the keys to make this work well is to just keep putting layers and let the cement set up a little bit, but never let it fully harden before adding the next layer, and that ensures that it's really strong and you don't get cold seams. And so after letting it cure for 7 days, we tried to tip it over, and as you can see, it doesn't move. And that was that it got cemented to the floor, but we had put sand down, so we were able to just chip the cement off the little edge and freed it up. And then we're picking it up and rolling it onto some foam, and that worked out really well, some foam mattresses. And then we were able to kind of tip and roll it into position, which wasn't actually all that difficult. Of course, there was a whole bunch of us, so that makes it a lot easier. This one probably weighs 400 or 500 pounds. I didn't keep exact track of the amount of sand and cement I added, but it's definitely really heavy. And so then we removed the center bar in just a little bit with the angle grinder, and now we're spraying more shotcrete inside of it and getting the inside finished out. Of course, it doesn't have as perfect of a finish as the outside, But since this is going to be filled with water and some dirt and fish and a little fountain and all of that, it's not going to be as important as long as it holds water well, which it ended up holding water perfectly well. So you can see how nice this bowl's looking. I really like the gray look, and it goes with the metal roof structure. I'm thinking of making the next one a black one. I think that would come out really cool to make it. So we have a bit of a mix of some clay that's a bit sandy and just some really good rich topsoil. And we are putting a full wheelbarrow load. I believe this one's about a 6 cubic foot wheelbarrow. And it was all the way full. We brought it up with the crane. And now we're just adding it all in here. We'll let it settle, and then we'll plant the water lotuses that are growing really well. So it's been just around 2 weeks, a little less, and the water lotus here is starting to come out of the jar, so I think it's ready to plant. There's a few mosquitoes in there, so I'll just dip out the lotus to not transfer the mosquitoes to this until I get fish. So I'm gonna plant this in here. Still a bit dirty, the water from all the soil I added, but it should settle out. So once it's covered in water lotuses, it shouldn't matter either.
So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. There's definitely a few things I would do differently on my next one. I got some parts to do a ring roller so I can bend the metal bars and all more precise. And that will definitely make it where I can make it a little thinner and more even on the sides, and of course a lot lighter weight. So that will be a big improvement. Also some ideas for getting the finish just a little nicer. This came out really well, but I think I can do it even better. We'll have a second part video, I think, of doing the little fountain for it, and we'll of course give you an update when there's water lotus and the fish and all happily living here. So you guys enjoy, and see you in the next one.
And if you were thinking the same as I was thinking, that this would make an amazing bathtub or hot tub, you're definitely right. I tried it out after finishing it, and it fits 1 to 2 people very easily, and I think you could definitely fit a third person in there. And you could definitely have one of those rocket stoves with a modified coil that would heat up the water pretty fast with some firewood, and that could be really cool as well.